we've got ourselves a 12E series. Awesome. Let's see if I can get in this thing right. Really? Well, that was a challenge. Got ourselves a 12E series. I'm already thinking right there, I'll be honest with you. Let's see what we got here. Turn the key to the run position. We have ourselves a Prindle. We do a check engine light. Crank, start, and run. Well, son of a gun, they told me this thing wouldn't start. Lovely, huh? Let's go ahead and take a peek around. We're gonna probably have to plug in our scan tool and take a look, see if we see anything obvious. My no start started, guys. What's up, everybody? Brian Mann here, hands-on auto training, end of day. This is January 13th, 2022. I'll tell you what, the most difficult and challenging thing for any technician or anybody to diagnose is an intermittent problem. If the vehicle or system we're trying to diagnose isn't acting up, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. So follow along in this example on this E-Series van as I try to show you what I was trying to do to duplicate the concern or even find that needle in the haystack. I didn't find anything, so I'll show you what I did and we'll move along. Alright guys, this thing's still running. Here's my diagnostic thought process. I got my DLC breakout box plugged in just because I want to verify that the CAN bus looks good with a scope real quick if I go that way. And then we're going to go ahead and do our complete vehicle DTC scan to see what's up. As you see here, we got a lot of different codes going on. Check this out. Good mismatch, CAN bus, TP sensor. Lots of stuff going on here. Immobilizer, ECM, communication area. They didn't say a theft light was on. And it was a no crank, no start. So we've got to take a look at the CAN bus. I'm going to take a look with the scope real quick. Somebody left their U-scope turned on and didn't turn it off, so I got to have this thing plugged in to charge it. Just so you guys know, I have 4 more U-scopes I'm giving away over the next 2 months. If you want to be entered into a drawing to win a U-scope kit, be sure to sign up for handsonautotraining.com at the premium or core membership level. Now, guys, I'm looking at the CAN bus. We're looking at pin 14, which is CAN low, and this is the most common spot on these vehicles. Right in here, always it gets all chewed up. So I'm going to go up a little further, see if I find anything. But I'm trying to whittle this around and just watch the CAN bus and see if I see anything. Now ideally, when I'm wiggling this harness around, I'm expecting to hear some dings, door chimes, or warning indicators. Alright, so I'm taking a look around here. Guys, I really think that this spot in here would be my problem. Here's another example using a live network test on a Ford to try and capture a problem. I'm going to go ahead and keep this going as I wiggle all the wires here. Alright guys, I've been running this network monitor for quite some time. I've wiggled all the harnesses in the driver's door sill pretty hard. I tugged on everything pretty good, wiggled grounds, all kinds of stuff. I've also went underneath the hood to the ABS control module. Down there, I'm wiggling all these harnesses because all it takes is one little wire that's got a bad spot, a partially green bad spot, and we'll have an issue. But I can't get this thing to act up yet. Well, I've been messing around with this thing for 42 minutes now. Just so you know, this will count up when the key's off for RCM, but I haven't had any issues with the IPC or the ABS. Alright guys, I am taping up this harness to help with abrasion resistance as it rubs in this little channel here. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and inspect this ground. I'm going to do a voltage drop on this ground. I don't have time to hold the camera to do it, but that's what I'm going to do. Alright, I guess that ground looked worse than it is. I'm reading like almost no millivolts, like maybe 0.1 to 0.2 millivolts across this ground. So I'm not so worried about that right now. Well, we got that all back together. Still unable to get this thing to act up. Starts and runs every time. Alright, we got ourselves a 2015 Chevy Suburban. We got a crank, no start. Rumor has it that this vehicle has had the frame replaced. It's an accident job. The fuel pump module's been replaced. Just so you know, on a 2015, I think it's 2013 and newer, the fuel pump control modules on these GMs do not need to be programmed. So we don't have to do that. But this has been an intermittent ongoing problem for this customer. Alright, so right off the bat here we got a P0463 fuel level sensor circuit, high voltage. I notice we do show an empty tank here, right? And what else we have here? Fuel pump driver control module enable circuit performance passed and failed. So let's take a report of this and save it. Okay, taking a look at our data list here. We have our fuel pump enable command, it says off, and we also have these fuel pump enable circuit open test status malfunction, high voltage status malfunction. So I want you to see here that when we go to crank, it does say it's commanding it on, but of course we don't have anything going on here. Now like I said, I do have to check and make sure we do have gas in this thing, because it is reading empty. But we do have that code for the fuel level sensor circuit high voltage. Well, I got to figure out where that high voltage would be coming from. That'd be a background, and then maybe this fuel and driver module enable circuit. Let's take a look at this code, P12A6. Okay, I want to share my thoughts with you all. The shop says that it does have like 8 gallons of gas. They put 8 gallons in there, so we know that it should have fuel in the tank, right? Here's our fuel pump, and it goes over to the fuel pump control module right over here. I'm trying to operate my thing one-handed. I'm very concerned about this ground, of course, being the frame was replaced, but this thing has ran on and off for quite some time from what I hear. But there's our fuel pump control module, fuel system shield. I don't understand why they call these things different. Okay, so we got a blue wire. I gotta learn more terminology. A blunt cut shield. Interesting. Okay, so we got this gray. Let me just highlight this if it'll work. We've got this gray wire going over here. And like I said, I'm trying to operate this with one hand. So we got our fuel pump supply voltage, and then we have our fuel pump low reference there, and then we got a shield. So the pump isn't running from what they say. I haven't heard it myself. That doesn't mean anything, right? But I'm looking at the fact that we have a low fuel level, even though we have fuel in here. So let's take a look at this system. Let's take a look at this section of the diagram. That goes up to this breakout. Where's this other end go here? This is probably gonna be like a low reference, I'm assuming, for the fuel tank pressure sensor. It's either gonna be a low reference or it's going to be positive voltage, I'm not sure. And that is fuel pressure low reference. But this is also providing the ground to the sending unit, because down here, come on mouse, there's not enough room in the shop for me to actually set up my stand. If you look behind me, I'm like cramped in here. There ain't no room. Anyhow, so we've got this blue wire here. Let's see where this one goes to. This should go right back to the fuel pump. X125. I wonder where else an X125 would be. This is on a, I think this is on an in-ground lift, so it's going to be interesting to get it up in the air the way it sits. So I'm trying to plan my plan of attack before I do anything. But I really want to see the powers and grounds down to this fuel pump control module. And we got X106 over here. You know, being that this is a frame off restoration, if you will, anything's possible. It looks like this ground terminal is super spread here. Can't prove it, but it doesn't look right. It's actually pushed back. It's pulled out of its cavity. I'm trying to get it so I can show you guys, but there's supposed to be a terminal there. It's actually pulled back.
The pump's not running, right?
Absolutely. So right now, as you can see here, this ground is actually pulling out. So we gotta get a pigtail on here before I do anything else. It's hard enough to work on this thing.
Okay.
But once I have a pigtail on, I should be able to drop this down and
okay, I'll get the
work on it better. So I told my customer, get a new pigtail. He called me back and said that he cannot get an actual pigtail. They can only get the plastic housing for the pigtail and then the individual terminals. I said, get the whole thing. Let's get that ordered up and take care of it. Guys, if you haven't followed Oz Mechanics, he's got some great videos on YouTube. A link is in my description on this video. He recently had a 2020 Ford Transit that had gotten in an accident, and it pulled some terminals out of the ECM. Pretty cool stuff. People don't realize how accident damage causes so much tension on a harness, and it'll actually break the little tabs in a connector that holds the pins in. Next up, we got ourselves a 2007 GMC Envoy. We're starting out with the complete vehicle DTC scan here. We have a new battery control module cable. I've never put in one of these that I know of. They replaced the battery cable. As you see, this is in bad shape, the negative cable, and it comes with this module. Just so you guys know, anytime you see this symbol here, it is a programmable module. Very important. Anytime you see the back and forth arrows with the old CRT side view monitor and a wrench, you have to program it. And here we go with our pre-scan. We got a couple TCCM. This is AB circuit for your encoder motor. EBCM, PWM, delivered torque malfunction, SIR, SIR. So these are the codes we're showing right now. So I don't see any codes in there. Let's go ahead to SPS. Now I gotta be the first one to tell you guys, I don't recall ever doing one of these modules. I might have done one, but I totally have forgotten. So let's go ahead and give this a whirl. Now this is pretty interesting because I do have an annual membership to Techline. So we're gonna go ahead and hit proceed because I don't know what to say there. Take a picture of this for our records. And we'll hit the start button. Alright, looks like it started. You know, a lot of the parts of programming are like watching paint dry. Alright, we're all good here. Alright, we got our two piston in here. We got, this is our post scan going for this GMC Envoy. We also got ourselves a 2018 Honda Civic. So it's got some codes we got to take a look at. And we're going to start out with an all-system DTC scan on this Honda Civic. And we've got two more modules left to go, or three more modules left to go on our GMC here. And we have no DTCs. We have no DTCs in our GMC Envoy, so that's cool. And it is charging right about in the middle there. Now I believe the battery was disconnected or this vehicle was jump-started. Not 100% sure. So far I'm not seeing any codes, but you do see here we have a couple, I do believe we have a pre-collision warning light and a drive carefully system and initializing light, stability light, TCS off, power steering light, all kinds of stuff on. So we'll finish the scan and I'll go ahead and start it up and see what's up. I want you guys to see here, if you look up the battery removal installation, this is using all data. You will see here at the very bottom, they do say to do a steering angle neutral position learn. So you gotta go ahead and hit here. And it looks like you can do it with or without HDS. We're gonna go ahead and do it with the scan tool and see if it takes care of stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a report. And we got a fault in the automatic transmission and a fault in the integrated driver support. So this is a permanent code, guys. Many times you can't diagnose a permanent code. Lost communication with the dynamics control module, integrated driver support, steering angle, neutral position, learning incomplete. So we gotta go ahead back and take care of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this report. Special function. Nope, not TPMS, score adjustment. Nope. Oh, actually, it might be under all sensors. I forgot about this. All sensor. I think it's going to be. Let's go ahead and hit OK. Okay. Turn the ignition off. Set the ignition on. Operation's been successful. Okay. And you can see we've got that interactive dynamics light out. All the lights went out on the dash. I think that's all it needed. We still have the power steering message. Let's escape out of this. I'm going to go ahead and start it up. I don't see any messages on the dash. That's good. Let's go ahead and go back. And I'm going to go ahead and do a complete vehicle DTC scan on this again. So that is a permanent DTC, and guys, usually you cannot clear a permanent DTC. I'm not even so worried about that. U0122 permanent. I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of that one. So, and I don't think it'll cause the light to go on either. All right, so we just did our other report. We still have this the U0122 as a permanent DTC. That means that it's not really there. You can't. There's nothing you can do to erase it. The vehicle has to be driven, and it has to itself pass its own tests for that code to go away. So that'll probably go away really soon here. The last job of the day was a 2007 Jeep Wrangler. Now this vehicle had a used computer installed that the salvage yard or junkyard said it was the right computer for the car and it should work no problem. Well, it was the right hardware, but this was actually a computer out of a 2007 Dodge Ram with a 3.7, and this was a 2007 Jeep Wrangler with a 3.8 liter. Next up, we've got ourselves a Jeep Wrangler with a used computer. We had to do a Chrysler file part number switcheroo. Be sure to check out my other YouTube videos on the Chrysler part number switcheroo, as I call it. Basically, we just have to open up a file part number notepad and change one of the files in there of the old part number to the part number of our used module, and we can get this to go through. Be sure to check out the link in the description. The interesting thing is the shop has a 508, and they were not able to get it to reset the security. And now I did verify they had the VIN written. Also, I went in with the J2534 toolbox, and we reset the VIN that way. We'll see if it starts and runs. We'll see what's up here. Let you know. So that was it. It was just a software difference between the 2007 Dodge Ram software versus the 2007 Jeep Wrangler software that would not allow this thing to crank. And a totally different engine. So who knows what all is entailed deep in the software levels with that. I don't. But we got this thing going. Guys, if you like this content, please do let me know. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you hung around this long, let me know. Tell me, hey, Brian, I made it to the end. I'd love to hear about it. And you guys have a great evening. Thanks a lot for your support. Bye-bye.